Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to explore a genuinely shocking reality. In the ultra-luxury world, having infinite wealth absolutely does not guarantee you access to the most exclusive goods. I mean, you might think that having millions in the bank means you can just walk in and buy whatever you want, right? But as we're going to see today, the most prestigious brands on Earth operate by a completely different and frankly, mind-blowing set of rules.
It really is a fascinating question, isn't it? Does infinite wealth actually mean infinite freedom? You would think that paying $500,000 for a hypercar means it's yours to do with exactly as you please. It's your property. But brands like Ferrari, Ford, and Hermes have these incredibly strict, unwritten, and sometimes highly contractual rules that you absolutely must follow. If you don't, well, you aren't just politely asked to leave, you're actively, permanently exiled. So here's our agenda for today. We're going to cover 5 key areas: the celebrity blacklist, the ban on unauthorized modifications, the strict flipping ban, the highly controversial pay-to-play model, and finally, how these companies go about protecting their brand. Let's get right into it.
Part 1. The celebrity blacklist, or what I like to call the illusion of ownership. You see, when you buy a hypercar, you aren't just a regular retail customer. You're essentially joining a highly monitored, super exclusive country club. And trust me, this club is watching your every single move. If you publicly disrespect the brand, if you make bad aesthetic choices, or if you ignore their contractual timelines, you are getting blacklisted. Ferrari, for instance, vets their buyers meticulously. They analyze your wealth, your public image, even your social media presence before you ever get the privilege of handing over your money.
Moving on to Part 2, no unauthorized modifications. This is all about respecting the aesthetics.
Okay, so nothing perfectly illustrates this better than the infamous deadmau5 saga. The electronic music producer took his beautiful Ferrari 458 Spider and wrapped it in a bright blue Nyan Cat meme. He even added custom badges and matching floor mats and dubbed it the Ferrari. He then drove it all across Europe in the Gumball 3000 rally. But when he later listed it for sale on Craigslist, Ferrari's lawyers immediately stepped in. They hit him with a sharply worded cease and desist letter for trademark infringement over the custom badges, literally forcing him to remove the wrap and restore the car to factory condition.
And deadmau5 is definitely not alone on this list. Pop star Justin Bieber lost access to future special models after he outfitted his 458 Italia with a wide-body kit, slapped an electric blue wrap on it, and then allegedly lost the $300,000 car for 2 weeks after a party. Then you have 50 Cent, who got banned after publicly calling his 488 a lemon on Instagram because of a dead battery. Oh, and he previously washed the car with champagne, which Ferrari viewed as a massive disrespect to their heritage. Even Blac Chyna landed on the blacklist just for painting her Ferrari Barbie pink. To Maranello, that color is strictly beneath the brand.
Now, automotive YouTubers, they push these boundaries even further. Take Whistling Diesel. He completely destroyed a $400,000 F8 Tributo on camera, basically just daring Ferrari to sue him. He drove it off-road, power washed the engine bay, and eventually the car caught fire and burned to the absolute ground in a cornfield. While Ferrari legally can't always take you to court since he did own the car outright, the blacklist is very, very real. He proved that you can do what you want, but you will never, ever buy a new car from them again.
All right, let's look at Part 3, the flipping ban and how these giants control the market.
To maintain ultimate scarcity and stop buyers from just profiting off limited editions, companies enforce what's called a right of first refusal. This is a sneaky little contractual clause buried in the fine print. It literally requires you to offer the car back to the dealer before you're allowed to sell it publicly. They also slap on strict ownership timelines, usually a minimum of 1 to 2 years. All of this ensures that the brand dictates the market, not you.
This exact rule led to a massive, highly publicized lawsuit between Ford and professional wrestler John Cena over his $463,000 Ford GT. Now, Ford had handpicked just 500 buyers for this car, choosing them based on their visibility and passion. But they sued Cena because he flipped his allocation to a California dealer almost immediately. Cena's defense? Well, he argued that the 24-month non-resale restriction was actually completely missing from his final dealer-specific paperwork. Ultimately, the two parties settled outside of court for an undisclosed amount, which Ford announced would go directly to charity. Cena apologized and encouraged other owners to respect the contract. But the real takeaway here? The message was sent loud and clear to the rest of the 500 hand-picked buyers. Breaking allocation contracts has incredibly severe consequences.
And hey, even being a literal billionaire doesn't make you exempt from these timelines. Floyd Mayweather flipped an ultra-rare Ferrari Enzo within just a few months of buying it. Casino mogul Steve Wynn flipped a LaFerrari before the sacred one-year mark, allegedly pocketing millions in profit. The result for both of these guys? Permanent removal from the allocation list. Decades of relationships and millions of dollars in sales just vanished instantly, all because they broke the rules.
Let's shift gears for part 4, the pay-to-play model, diving into tying arrangements.
So we're moving from the automotive world to high fashion. Right now, the luxury retailer Hermes is facing a proposed federal class action antitrust lawsuit in San Francisco. They're being accused of employing an unlawful tying arrangement just to buy their famous handcrafted Birkin bags. The lawsuit alleges that an average customer can't just walk into a store and buy a Birkin. Actually, scratch that. You have to be deemed worthy first by spending exorbitant amounts of money on completely different store items.
Here is how it allegedly works. The lawsuit claims that sales associates receive a 3% commission on ancillary items. We're talking things like shoes, scarves, belts, jewelry, and home goods. This commission structure supposedly incentivizes the associates to essentially force customers to build up this massive purchase history before they're even shown a Birkin in a private back room.
But here is the absolute kicker. Associates allegedly get 0% commission on the Birkin itself. By paying 3% on the extra items and absolutely nothing on the bag, it creates this intense shadow market. Buyers are basically coerced into dropping thousands upon thousands of dollars on goods they might not even want just for the sheer privilege of getting access to the handbag they actually came in for. It's wild.
And that brings us to our final section, Part 5, Protecting the Brand and the Scarcity Economy.
Ferrari's CEO Benedetto Vina put it pretty bluntly. This entire mechanism, all these rules, is fundamentally about protecting brand equity. It's about preserving the mystique and enforcing this strict narrative that the brand itself is vastly more important than any individual owner, no matter how rich or famous they happen to be. Think about this. Ferrari generated $1.3 billion from customization in a single year, yet they still strictly limit paint colors and modifications to ensure every single car on the road upholds their legendary image.
This extreme level of control builds a very clear divide in the community. If you play by their strict rules, like automotive YouTuber Shmee150, who never criticizes the brand, you get the VIP treatment, exclusive access, factory tours, private reveals, the whole shebang. But if you criticize them, take journalist Chris Harris. In 2011, he wrote an article accusing Ferrari of tuning their press cars. The consequence? He faced a career-threatening blacklist and lost access to review their new models for years.
So, at the end of the day, whether it's through rigid personalization boundaries, restricting immediate resales, or demanding a totally pristine public image from their buyers, these brands are meticulously engineering a scarcity economy. They want to ensure that the demand always radically outpaces the supply. They are making absolutely sure that their product remains the ultimate status symbol, one that money alone simply cannot buy.
Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to ponder. When you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a luxury item, should a brand still be able to dictate what you do with it? I mean, is this extreme control just the justified price of owning a piece of a legend, or is it an absolute absurd overstep into consumer rights? Keep that in mind the next time you see a hypercar driving down the street or spot a designer bag. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and as always, keep questioning the world around you.